Super Rugby Power Rankings for round number 9. Let's go through the 12 teams, 6 Aussie, 6 Kiwi, including the 2 Pacific teams, remember. And rank them. We haven't had the teams matching each other yet across the Tasman, but that is not too far away. And then eventually we'll be able to do a combined table for the New Zealand side in 6th. We've got Moana, Pasifika, and for the Aussie side, we've got the Fijian Drua. So both sides, I think, have shown a bit of promise. Both sides have had wins, although not many, one each. So it's hard to read too much into it. These guys were always going to be up against it in their first seasons. The fact that both sides already have a win, I do think, is encouraging. The Fijian Drua, I would like to see, I know this sounds counterintuitive, but maybe kick the ball a wee bit more. I'm no tactical genius, but they love running everything, and I feel like other teams have started to kind of work them out. If you can kind of maintain your defensive line with the big ball runners coming at you, there's not other shots that they've been firing yet. Moana Pacifica's run has been tough, given that they've had to play multiple games in a week. Remember, this ranking is based on playing 2 games in the space of 7 days. So, yeah, it has been tough. But fingers crossed, now that they've pretty much caught up to the New Zealand teams in terms of the amount of games played, that we can actually get some more consistency in the schedule. 5th, I've got the Highlanders and I've got the Force. So Highlanders are up on the Kiwi side. Force are unfortunately down. Highlanders had their first win. It was over Moana Pasifika. It was a pretty solid win without being overly spectacular, but finally good to get that one under the belt. Plane going over my house. And the Force, they let's move that there. The Force, they had a really disappointing home loss to the Rebels. Rebels have been tracking pretty well. Force, I feel like, are kind of just steady as she goes ever since they announced that they'd be getting a new coach next year. Things seem to have just gone off the boil just a touch, so not all doom and gloom just yet, but yeah, that was a really, really disappointing loss for them at the weekend. Hurricanes I've got in 4th, so that is steady as she goes. Rebels I have up 1 spot on that side of the Tasman. Rebels with the away win of the Force. Kind of makes sense that they leapfrog them. They have the same record, but the Rebels' more recent record is better. And the Hurricanes, they lost a pretty gutting home one to the Crusaders, so you could argue how close that game was actually means they should be up the board slightly better, but they are still in a negative record with 3 and 4. They did get the second result over the Moana Pacific guys yesterday, but not enough to send them up a spot. Next teams, it's the Chiefs who have still got in 3rd, and it's the Waratahs who have still got in 3rd. The Waratahs were on the bye, so there's not a lot doing with them. The Chiefs had a pretty disappointing home loss to the Blues, 25-0. They got nilled. Does that mean that the Chiefs aren't quite there? They've still got a better record than the Canes. They've got 1 win more, 1 loss less. But yeah, they got nilled. So there's a wee bit of question mark about the Chiefs side. But that being said, they had like 3 tries disallowed. So I don't know. I can still live with them there in that spot. The Tars, we still need to see them beat a Brumbies or a Red side to really consider them a proper contender among the Aussie teams. Crusaders I've got in 2nd alongside the Reds. The Reds are actually down, but remember they had the bye. And the Brumbies are on the bye next, so they should probably, if they get a win, go past the Brumbies, but they're in 2nd. Crusaders are still behind the Blues. I mean, arguably the Blues win was more impressive than the Crusaders one. Chiefs side was supposed to be a better side than the Hurricanes. Both sides were away, the Crusaders and the Blues, but the Blues managed to get a bigger win. So, personally, I'm a Blues fan, and I'm still not convinced. I'm still not convinced. This is the 3rd week I've had the Blues in 1st, and I'm still not convinced. The Blues and the Crusaders are playing each other next. So, there you go. Brumbies got a win over the Drua. Happy days. They're tracking really well. But as I said, they'll be on the bye. So it's just between them and the Reds, seemingly at the moment in Australia. You've got quite a divide. Crusaders and Blues. Yeah, I'm still back in the Crusaders. Now, the Crusaders haven't looked as good as last year. I'll say that. They haven't looked as good as last year. Maybe the other New Zealand teams are looking a touch better. I'm not sure. The Hurricanes are certainly better than I thought they were going to be. Maybe not so much the Highlanders. They're taking a little while to click. But even they haven't been getting flogged. So, yeah. We'll see. You guys let me know your thoughts. Crusaders to pass the Blues this week. Crusaders haven't lost to the Blues in a very long time, let alone at home. So that's what I would expect. Aussie Conference, remember we've got a couple teams on the bye. So we'll see how things go. You guys let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.